We're here today to talk about real estate.
Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Unlimited podcast. My name's Sarah Steinmetz.
Bryan Schuby.
I'm Kari Steele.
Bill Jones.
And we're the Jones Home Team.
And this is episode 32, and we're looking forward to the intro next week, Sierra. So little inside baseball there. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this is episode 32. We got things. Brian's rehashing some stuff that is very important. Here we're talking about not doing things before you get your mortgage, right?
While you have applied for a mortgage.
Don't do some of these things here. Kari's got some HOA talk. I'm gonna dive a little deeper here into the Zillow, taking aim at Compass real estate and some of the new changes in real estate. I guess the MLS rules and practices, things like that. Sierra, we had, a couple things. We'll dive into a few things here. So
some beef.
Some agent beef. We'll get into it. It's going to get real. All right, Shub, what do you got?
Yeah, so again, I know we had talked about this a handful of weeks ago, but I just wanted to, rehash it a little bit here, kind of push it. Things to avoid after you applied for a mortgage then. So obviously, number one, don't make big purchases. I think, Bill, you had talked about this last time. You had some clients show up to a closing.
Yep, right here. I'll show you one of these bad
car.
boys. He come rolling up in one of these, if you can see it. Yep, and it screwed the whole closing up. It was not good.
Yeah,
but at least they looked cool.
He looked awesome in that. His wife did not agree though, and it screwed everything up. So
number one, don't go out and make any big purchases. Just I guess before you would go make any big purchases or anything like that. Anytime you're doing anything with your finances while you have applied for a mortgage, always check with your lender to ask, hey, should I do this or not do this? I'm going to guess 100% of the time they're going to tell you not to do it or wait till after.
Right.
But I guess, just like I said, double check with them.
And the lenders aren't going to want to hear this, but the day after closing, go buy her a car too. I don't care. You know what I mean? Once it's closed, it's closed. They're not going to come take the mortgage away. Yep. So
next, don't open or close any credit accounts. So obviously opening in a new account can have a hard inquiry on your credit, which then can drop it. Avoid closing old accounts. Obviously, closing old accounts can negatively affect your credit utilization, which then could affect your overall credit score and drop that then as well. So don't open or close any new accounts. Obviously, don't miss payments. Obviously, if you miss a payment, your credit score will probably drop once that gets reported.
Yeah, it's not good on your credit. Don't do that.
So obviously, like Market Assured always says, if you don't pay, you don't stay. So obviously, don't not make your payments. Don't make unusually large deposits into your bank account. The lenders are going to need a paper trail of where funds are coming from. So just make sure, or again, I know, Kari, we were just talking beforehand. If you have a large deposit that you make, just make sure you can tell where that money came from.
Source the funds.
Sold a car. Or,
Yep. Because a lot of times I think they will want something in writing from the purchaser stating, hey, this is where that money came from or how I got that money, stuff like that.
Yeah, the cash from under the mattress. We've said this before too. The banks hate mattress cash, or you just
you don't want my $22,000 in the suitcase money that was under my bed.
Sure, I'll take it, but the banks don't want to see it though. Yeah. So when you just show up with just a large amount of cash to just
wait till the day after closing to deposit.
Disclosure: I don't have $22,000 in mattress money.
Yes.
Don't change jobs or income streams. So obviously do not go out and change jobs or anything like that, especially if you're, working somewhere and then you completely switch to a completely different job. I know that really can screw you then as well.
Changing fields is a big
changing
one
fields
too.
is a big one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like most people, if they are getting a raise or they got a really nice job and they go from X amount of, their salary goes from 50 to 120, the first thing they want to do is upgrade their whole life and buy the new car and finance all these dreams, but just do it in a timely manner and with talking to your bank, because obviously if you're applying for a loan, they should know that.
Yep.
A lot of people spend everything they make then
just
too.
Make sure you tell your lender what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think with that then too, if life happens, talk to your lender first before you make the switch or do whatever. Obviously none of us are lenders, so talk to them. If life needs a change, do it. But like your points here, I think if you keep it the same field usually helps versus going from, hey, I'm an airline pilot, I'm going to be a bartender. Yeah. That's a whole different.
And then last couple here, do not co-sign any loans. So don't go out and co-sign loans on a vehicle for your kids or, for family members or even, credit cards or anything else.
Definitely not family members. Don't.
That's probably the worst ones to do it for. So, so like I said, don't go out and co-sign any loans, and then don't move money around too much. So, don't just keep transferring it back and forth between accounts, because obviously that's harder to source or keep track of for lenders and banks and stuff like that then. So.
But it makes it look like there's more. If you move it around, you have all the statements with you're shuffling the money around.
It might make it look like it more, but it
doesn't work.
Yeah, it does.
I've had people try that stuff. Like I got the statements that show it. Well, it's not there. Yeah.
So like I said, as far as things to avoid after you apply for a mortgage, again, I know we talked about this, but again, just want to reiterate this as we're starting to come up on a period here where the spring market's starting to come alive and more buyers are starting to apply for mortgages. So just keep these in mind when you're.
But the weather's sweet, and you can drive that Charger and
you want to go get a new Lowe's car, or like big box store, like you want to go get all new furniture, like rooms to go or something. Like, we have it's under contract, but you don't freaking have it yet. You don't own that house.
Yep. Yeah,
the underwriting still has to happen.
One of the big ones is go apply for a Lowe's card or a Home Depot card or something
for a whole new kitchen,
for something like that. Because we're under contract on this house.
But we need appliances, Bryan.
Yeah. You want to update your home and stuff like that. But just wait till after closing.
Yep. And I've told that story too. People called, they're in line at Lowe's. They got 10% off on appliances. Plus, if I get a card, it's
Use
another so much
cooler.
percent. Yeah, whatever.
Get some ice in a cooler.
I'm like, get the hell out of there. No, you just leave right now. I don't care what you picked out. Come back after closing.
Leave the stuff in the line.
Yes. Also, you don't know, anything could happen too. Like the situation could change at any time.
Yeah.
Your life could change. The seller's life could change. Like that contract could go away tomorrow. Unfortunately, but it really could. And then you
got this couch that fits perfectly in the living room, and it's now it doesn't fit in whatever new home you decide to write an offer.
Right.
Yeah, it's morbid, but we always talk about the step in front of the bus thing. Anything could happen. So, or the people on Facebook, oh, we got a house. No, you don't. You got a purchase offer on a house, and nothing has happened. You don't have the keys. The deed is not transferred. So, anything could happen up until closing. So, don't buy those appliances.
That's what I got.
No new cars. Not till after closing. All right. Anything else to add on that?
I guess unless Bill's your agent, then go out and buy all the new Chargers and Challengers.
Buy everything you want, apparently.
He loves it when you do that, I heard.
It makes it work real easy then. So, all right, HOAs, Kari, what do we got?
All right. So this weekend I spent a lot of time driving around very nice neighborhoods. And one of the things a client said is, we don't want a house with an HOA, but all the houses they sent me were in what looked to be very nice subdivisions, what would probably have HOAs.
Right.
And they're like, well, it's okay if it's not, a laundry list of things on the HOA, but we just don't want to have neighbors that are peering in our windows, wondering, where are you going? What are you doing? And just being judgmental. So one of the nicer houses on the list of homes that we were going to go see was a very stately home. Okay. And I hate putting price tags on it because prices vary across the country, but we'll just say this was a very upper class neighborhood. So I'm driving my car, which is not a bad car. It's a Subaru, right? 2016 Subaru, and it gets me where I need to go, and it gets great gas mileage. And my brakes needed changed, and my husband was changing them later that day, but I had a little tiny bit of a squeak when I came to a stop. That's it, right? That's it. People walking their dog, they were literally stopped like I was dragging a body from the back of my car and just peered at me, looked me into my soul. And I was like, I don't think this is the neighborhood they want to live in, because this is the exact thing that they're trying to get away from.
Right.
Was a teeny tiny little squeaky brake. And I just felt this big, and I felt so embarrassed that, my car was making a squeaking noise, which was just a natural, I needed to change my brakes.
People are wondering how you got in there, right?
Yes. When she stopped at the front and asked for her credentials. So I just, again, I felt out of place. So I felt if I felt that out of place, they're probably going to feel the same way. But we went in, and just as quick as we went in, we came back out. But so what's an HOA? They get a bad rep, but there's some good positive things about having an HOA, especially if you have a nice home that you've put money into and you want to keep your investment value there. So HOA is basically a homeowners association that's run by a board of directors. They're elected from within the homeowners association. Typically, it's a nonprofit, so you pay your HOAs to the or your fees to the HOA, and then they're responsible for the maintenance and upkeep and preservation, I guess, of of the community, making
like
sure that
enforcement of the rules.
And also they have a set of rules, and then code enforcement, of course. So the one thing that is good about that, and Bill's got a picture of just something I just Googled Zillowed an area, or not Zillowed, but I Googled an area, and you can see these, kind of houses are,
they look nice.
Very nice cookie cutter type houses. And then if you zoom over to the right a little bit, you will see a house that does not
a car
have,
collector.
Yeah, and maybe there's nothing wrong with the neighbors. They will probably give you the shirt off their back, to be honest. But if you just look at the home and the condition of the front yard, and then
nice grass,
spin it around, and then you see a house that's maybe not in the same condition, then those neighbors are probably going to be
guy's got a good view.
Disappointed with how the neighbors are keeping up. So while this might be
storing a semi on the road.
That's very much my house, right? The thing is like you can have, neighborhoods where, you've got all of these beautiful homes, and then you've got a couple of, this isn't a hoarder, but then you've got like hoarder houses that they've got, I'm going to get to that project. I'm going to work on that boat someday, or I'm going to.
Most of my neighbors.
But then they just keep adding and adding. And it's like, you didn't finish the first 3 projects. Why do you keep adding to it? But I think the bad rep is like, okay, Sierra lives in an HOA and she wants to hang a fern on her front porch, and they come storming over with a notice that says you can't drill into the outside of your exterior and hang that plant.
Yeah, some of the HOAs are militant.
House, and you're improving the curb appeal. So what would that matter? And I think that's why HOAs get a really bad rep. But then, in addition
people get scared of that. Yeah, the guy that I've seen those videos, I'm sure that comes pounding on the door. Your Amazon packages have been out here longer than 3 hours.
Trash cans have been out here.
Trash cans 3 hours overdue. Like, I'm working. Give me a break.
Yeah,
but that's.
And actually, the people that I was showing the house to, they said the reason that they want out of their HOA is because they had 2 dogs. They were doing a pet limit, and then also somebody had to give their dog away because it was barking too much. I'm like, I would move before I gave my family pet away.
Right.
Like, that's our family. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Everybody's not the same, but especially.
I don't know, Kari. I love my dog, but I don't know if I'm more moving over.
Indoor dog. Well, and yours is a little different because you built there, but. So the benefits and drawbacks. So one really extreme case is if you default on your HOA payments, you could lose your home because they're enforceable. So if you're going to look for buyers and for agents, I guess, if you're an agent, make sure you know whether or not that house is in an HOA for the purpose of your clients. Because if they don't know and they're expecting you to know this stuff and to tell them if it's in an HOA and then get them the code enforcement of what's expected. Maybe it's just the lake association and you just pay dues to use the lake and there is no upkeep or maintenance agreements. Maybe it's just, hey, you put in X amount of dollars per year that takes care of, raking the sand and keeping toilet paper in the bathrooms and that kind of thing. Or it could be something as strict as, you kept your
Amazon packages.
Amazon packages, or you kept your trash cans out too long.
And that's important too, is getting a local agent then, getting somebody that's familiar with the market that knows what's going to be there or can find that out then too. So that makes a big difference.
So HOA horror fee or horror story real quick. HOAs, this is one particular case. I don't know this person, but I just pulled it for reference. HOAs are the absolute worst. I moved out of my townhouse because they decided that we couldn't have more than 1 pet in our homes, and I had 2. They said they'd fine anyone who didn't comply and wouldn't hesitate to take liens out against homeowners who retaliated. Instead of fighting it, and in retrospect, I wish I would have been more bold, I decided to sell my home. Katie from Facebook. So hers,
poor Katie.
But hers was very similar to what my people were just saying.
Right.
And so question to the audience, like if you live in an HOA, do you like it? Or, what are the benefits? Do you recommend somebody build or buy in an area that has no HOA? Like I guess I'm looking for more positive experience than negative ones because everybody has a negative experience. But if
you always hear more about negative than positive for sure.
Yeah, drop it in.
Our area, I don't think there's any too many nightmare HOA
I don't
stories
think so,
that I've heard of, but
because I think 2 people here are pretty realistic, and they themselves don't want to be regulated by their own rules. So if they know if they put a rule in place, they're smart enough to know that that's going to come back on them too if their Amazon packages are outside for.
Yeah, if that's the first thing I'm looking at a house and then they go boom and drop the HOA handbook on there, I'm gonna let's keep looking. I'm not interested in this area. Yeah. It's cool though. It does keep the neighborhood nice if you don't have a militant thing. I think what's important too is find out like what those fees cover. because every HOA is different. And if you buy in thinking like a condo, thinking the roof is taken care of, the driveway, everything is all done.
Yeah, the windows are included in or whatever.
Yeah, the windows included, the doors included, is the outside air conditioner unit included, because some aren't, some are. So
and that was a question that we had this weekend. Was their understanding was like it was like a condo on the HOA. They're like, oh, they take care of the roof and they take care of. I'm like, no, not on this one.
Right? Yeah. The $100 a month is not covering a brand new roof for the entire place. But yeah, if it's a $700 a month, then maybe. So.
And Christmas lights. We talked about HOA or was it around Christmas time? Like, what are you allowed to put up?
Yep.
Do you want that?
I would be fine with them saying, yeah, you can't put anything out. I'd be like, sorry, kids, the HOA won't let me. It's not dad being lazy.
That's right. You get one wreath on the door, and it can be no longer than 24 inches around.
So, yeah, just some random place. And I'm sure we could drop a pin in anywhere in America and find different situations like that then, too. Yep. So, but yeah, that's a great thing about being in America. You can own your own real estate and do whatever the heck you want to do with it. So, as long as you're not in an HOA that prohibits semis in the driveway and you
12 cars in the
12
yard.
cars and cats and everything else. So, all right. I wanted to, I guess real quick, Sierra, I don't have a slide to show here with it then too. I got a call from an agent down in Southern Ohio.
Me too.
I'm the real estate broker. Yeah, I didn't know she called you then. Won't put anybody on blast, but let's see if our stories coincide here, because we didn't talk about this really beforehand. She calls me and starts going, oh, you guys do a great job marketing. I see you're up in Northern Ohio. Like, had done a ton of homework. Like, she knows all about our offices, who works there, whatever. Yeah, do you guys market down here? And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, what, are you guys running ads and things? Like, well, we run ads all over the place, but not necessarily almost 4 hours away, 3.5 hours away. It's a little far for us to effectively travel. And then she starts asking for your number. Well, Sierra worked there? I said, yeah. Can I have her number? I'm like, sure. Can I ask why? Well, she's running ads to one of my sellers.
Apparently.
Yeah. And it's let me tell you, for the area, it's a super high dollar area. And this is the nicest listing there. And I just don't appreciate her, kind of running ads, because it's also saying something about, foreclosures and this and that. It is definitely not in a foreclosure. So I just need to talk with her. And I said, what? I don't think, I can almost assure you Sierra's not directly running ads to your seller.
I don't even know how to do that.
3.5 hours away. I said, we run ads on behalf of our agents, but again, we're not directly. I'm like, you know which website this is? Well, no, I don't, but it's on several. And, my seller's mad. Now I'm upset. And, I'm getting this listing back. So I don't know what you guys think you're doing. I said,
and was she upset?
Oh, she was, very upset. Which I wondered, because she was over the top complimentary to start with. And then just started firing about this stuff, about these ads that are running, things like that. I'm like, I will give you Sierra's number. It's available. I'm sure, as much homework have you done on our business already? I'm sure you already have it. But you're more than happy to call it. You're more than welcome to call her.
She was not happy to call me.
Yeah, call her if you'd like. But I want to know what she's doing with these ads. I'm like, ma'am, again, I assure you, she is not directly running these ads. If we somehow mistargeted this ad, and we don't run pre-foreclosure, and that sounds like a Zillow thing, not anything that we're doing. We don't run those type of ads. It's more directed, looking for buyer, seller, something like that. And she's just like, well, I guess I'll let it go for now.
She did not let it go.
So then that's the last time.
You should make a phone
call. It must
be
a very effective
It sounds
ad.
like you should make a phone call to a seller who may be looking to sell their home.
Yeah, so this listing's about to expire, apparently.
How good is the ad, though, if you can't even find Sierra's number?
Right. Yeah. So then she calls me. And it's the middle of the day. I'm like, okay, I don't recognize the number. I answer, being polite. And she just starts ripping me one. She's like, I just don't understand why can you just stop sending those ads? And then she was like, she brought in another coworker's name who's not on the team or anything either. I was like, we aren't tied in any way. I was like, I don't know where you're even talking about, what ads this could be. And more of the story, be nice, okay? It doesn't cost any money to be kind, and you don't need to call people and light them up at 2:00 on a freaking weekday because you're upset about something that you don't understand or whatever. Well,
she's been doing it for 40 years.
Well, my bad, but I don't even know how to run a targeted ad.
So do we know how the ad or what it
was?
I have
no
where?
idea.
No,
and again, it could be something we're running, but it could just be something.
I know, because Tara and I were sitting there, and I know we were thinking it was maybe just KV Core our CRM follow-up system. Maybe they were on a drip campaign or something.
Sure.
And they were getting sent emails and stuff like that. So I think we wound up going in and just removing
That's
the drip
crazy.
campaign.
Yeah.
That could be
But-
well, which means that person, we didn't go seek that person
Yeah,
out.
they
That
signed
person-
up.
Yeah.
They signed up.
Yeah, we're looking at a property or something.
Right. That's
Yeah.
and then for the audience, that's how the world of real estate sales works, or anything real estate related. As you put something out there, people sign up, and then we follow up with you. So yeah, you didn't go force yourself into this
3.5
guy's
hours
life,
away.
you know. So and again, I think the bigger thing you commented is that like an agent that's been in the business for a long time. That stuff drives me nuts. I've been doing this 30 years, 40 years, whatever. That doesn't mean you're keeping up with the times or you're necessarily, doing a lot of business or anything like
Yeah,
that.
maybe she should have got that house sold.
Right, yeah, exactly. So you can be in the business 2 years and be killing somebody that's been doing it for 40 years.
Yeah.
So, and if you're not keeping up with the times or understand how the marketing now works, not like we're rocket scientists, but we keep up with or try to. And that I was trying to explain that to her nicely. I'm not talking down to her like, hey, it's just marketing, it's whatever. I don't think it's anything we did intentionally. I'm very sorry. So was definitely
That was not an appropriate enough answer for her. Though.
apparently not. And I
Either.
I didn't even bring it up to you because I thought I'd handled it and squashed it and it was done. But
Oh, no.
apparently it went well beyond that.
She
then,
wanted
so.
a piece of this.
She did. Well,
And then she hung up on me, even though she
no,
called
she
me.
did not.
So that was awesome.
That's just not. So yeah, we're not going to mention names or whatever, but that agent down south stopped doing that, I guess. So
Yeah.
we're not doing anything.
Be kind. I hope you have a good day.
Yes,
Wherever
exactly.
you are.
So, but I mean, the world changes constantly. I mean, we'll be in the same boat, I'm getting to be an old man here. So it'd be another 10, 20 years. I won't know how to.
It'll be us being like, Bill, you got to chill out,
Yeah,
dude.
I'll be the
You're
angry
so
old
grumpy.
angry old agent calling people. Why is these whippersnappers? I don't know. So I kind of got
Got to get your wits about you.
Yeah, I got to get my wits about me before I get too fired up. So, all right. Well, I tried covering. It didn't work. So if anyone else gets any angry calls, apparently we have some ad running somewhere. Well, again, we don't even control that. So
No.
from a client perspective, sometimes too, their house will get listed on some random site and the information will be wrong.
Yeah.
We do. And I tell people when we list a house, we'll do everything. Anything we have any control over, we will make sure is accurate. Bedrooms, bath, square foot, description, things like it'll be as right as we can make it. But we can't control the internet. There's
No.
stuff that's going to be out there that's not going to be right. So
Even Zillow data scrapes wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
I had one that buyer was ready to put an offer in, and it was listed by another agent here in town. And I called the agent and I said, "Now wait a minute. It says it has this, but we clearly did not see this."
Right.
She's like, "Was it this website?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "Oh my gosh, it pulled the data wrong. It does that all the time." And
Sure.
I'm like, "Well, that's that's good to
Right.
know."
I mean, we've had sellers call and say, hey, our square footage is wrong on Zillow or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
just like, I mean, it's right in the MLS. I'm not sure why it's pulling
Sure.
that, but
Yeah,
we
I've
can't
had-
unfortunately call
yeah.
Zillow and have them change it. They're not going to listen to us.
Yeah,
so.
I've had that too on like a house. If it's sold within the past like few years or so, it'll pull information from like the most
Before.
recent listing that might not at all be accurate either.
Which, and some of those sites we can log in and adjust, but then it just like 15 minutes later, day later, it'll reset. So yeah, we can only control so much. So
That's why
we
you
do
need
what
an
we can,
agent.
folks.
Need an
Yeah.
agent
Right.
because Zillow don't know that you took that 3-bed, made it into a 2 because you added something or expanded something. That changes
Yeah,
the
you're looking
whole.
from 100 foot, 1,000 foot. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
only see so much. So well, on Zillow, we'll segue right into that then. So Zillow throwing down the gauntlet with Compass and a couple of these other sites. So I think Bryan or who talked about the MLS changes that last week?
That was me.
Yeah, I think you talked about it. So just to rehash that if you didn't tune into that. So the MLS, I should just bring up those notes here. So the MLS changed the rules to where you can do a private listing. So as of right now, we have the clear cooperation rule, meaning that any real estate agent, any realtor that lists a property, it has to be publicly available to all other real estate agents. It has to be able to be what we call syndicated onto all their sites. So Zillow, Trulia, our site, ERA's site, Compass's site, every site that there is has to be syndicated or be available to be put on those sites within 24 hours. Well, the NAR just changed the rules to where now you can do, I forget exactly what they called them, like the private party listing or it's not the non-MLS. I should know.
It's kind of like they were opting out of it, but I don't remember. What
Yeah,
the
so it's
word
a
was.
private listing then too. So Compass is a big proponent of that. We don't even have any Compass people around here, so it doesn't even affect us. But what they like to do is have their own private listing. So put it on the Compass exclusive, they call it. It's only on their website. The only people that really have access to it are Compass real estate agents. So they have I don't know what the argument is, but they have an argument that where that's better sometimes for these sellers to be a Compass exclusive listing, meaning you can't go look it up, none of us can go see it. it's exclusive to them. To me, I maybe it doesn't make sense around here. I don't know that how that makes sense. But
it
if
sounds
you're
like a money grab.
right, like we're just we want both sides of it, I guess. So in New York, places like that, I think like big like super metropolitan areas or it's exclusives. Maybe that makes sense. I know that New York, I think that's how it works. But, for flyover country us, I don't know how that works out. So Zillow comes out with this, and they say, Zillow announced the new listing policy in tandem with a commitment from EXP and several other things to follow these rules. Properties that violate it will be banned from Zillow for the life of the listing. So not only Zillow, I'm ad-libbing here, but it's Zillow and Trulia both. So for the life of that listing, if it's a Compass exclusive or a real estate company exclusive, it will never go on their site then, which means it'll never be publicly available. So unless they subsequently relist with a different brokerage. So say they're listed with Compass, and they then say, okay, this didn't work on our Compass exclusive. Let's just traditionally list it, put it out there. It's never going to show up on Zillow. It's never going to show up on Trulia. A couple of the other third-party sites, I think, are talking about trying to follow suit. So another guy, I don't know who this guy is, Anthony Lamacchia of Lamacchia Realty pointed out that Zillow's move could potentially impact the industry by reminding viewers of how antsy sellers can get when their homes don't immediately show up on the portal, like on Zillow, after being listed or whatever syndication issues may be. Sellers are always calling their agents, why isn't my house on Zillow? Why isn't my house on Zillow? Lamacchia says. Zillow knows that, and they're flexing their muscle. So I hate to say, but I don't blame them. I think it's a brilliant move, because smart people are on Zillow, apparently. So I'm not advocating for Zillow, but they do get the eyeballs. They get the traffic. There's a bunch of info here with this here then, too. So another one, I think this was from Homes.com, direct competitor to Zillow. They've really been spending a ton of money trying to be the new Zillow. So this week, Zillow executive Earl Samuelson, sorry if I'm butchering these names, announced that homes will not be listed in the MLS. Homes that are not listed in the MLS within 24 hours of public marketing won't be published on Zillow for the life of the listing. Simply put, if your listing is not on Zillow within 24 hours, Zillow will retaliate against you and the homeowner by turning off your ability to list on Zillow and Trulia. It is an incredible move of audacity and pure power play of epic proportion. So, I don't know what so even if just a few agents hold back listings from Zillow, buyers will quickly follow suit and stop. This is, again, coming from Homes.com. Buyers will quickly follow suit and basically Zillow will lose traffic. I don't know if that's true or not. I feel like they have a pretty good market share. And one more quick little thing. This is again from Notorious ROB, his Substack here. So from a seller to get maximum exposure on their listing with Zillow, an agent will need to enter in the MLS at the point of the publicly marketing. Our standards are straightforward. If a listing is marketed directly to the consumer without being listed on the MLS and made widely available when the buyer search for homes, it will not be published on Zillow. So the standards go into effect May of 2025. Another one here, I kind of like this. I don't know who James Dwiggins is, but checkmate. Well done, Zillow. Next Home. So this is the CEO, I think, of Next Home. Next Home proudly supports Zillow in this move. It protects the home buyers and the sellers and puts an end to the greed and lying. That's kind of what you're talking about, Sierra. Puts an end to the greed and lying that has been growing in the industry. Good luck explaining to your seller that if your home is marketed in an office exclusive or private listing, it will never be allowed on Zillow or Trulia unless it's listed with another brokerage. Oh, and those that think that Zillow will get sued, probably, but that's the 800-pound gorilla with a financial war chest to take on anyone. Good luck with that. So, I don't know. Period. Mic drop, I guess. So, that was a lot, I guess, so everybody's going crazy about this thing. So, I don't know what you all feel about that.
I can't disagree. It goes back to the principles of being a real estate agent, that you need to serve your client to the best of your ability. And are you really doing that if you're not making it a publicly viewable listing? I don't know.
That's tough. I don't know.
Does it put it back in the hands of the agent to go find the right house for the client versus them just being on these big websites?
Sure. But even then,
But
I don't think
it'll
you can
be
even
delayed.
access it.
Yeah,
No.
you can't.
Yeah.
Like
see
other
it
MLSs,
anyway,
like
yeah.
it doesn't make any sense that we can't access all of the like we are licensed agents and we are in the state of Ohio and there's MLSs that we can't get information from unless we pay to play.
And we don't talk about that enough.
It's so
Yeah,
stupid
yeah.
though. Like you know, how can you do your client a service if you are in a private small MLS and it's not out there for the world?
Sure.
Like,
But that's just more hard than
It is.
impossible. Like
It
so
is.
so maybe there's not like a statewide MLS necessarily. So you can still go get it. You can call that agent and say,
Oh,
hey,
for sure.
send me a sheet.
There's at
Yeah.
least that option.
yeah, they're not going to be
Yeah,
like,
for
well,
sure.
forget it, gal. You're not getting into this house.
Yeah.
You know, that's not how.
no, they wouldn't want to do that. They would then they wouldn't be representing their seller
Right.
by not sharing that information. But it just
Which I think
all
is
of
exactly
these little hiccups
this.
are just
Yeah,
so, I
that's
know.
what- yeah, that's
it's
exactly
exactly
it.
what it is, and
Yeah.
it just seems so stupid.
So I don't know what the answer would be if I say I call just to pick on Compass. They're the ones doing it.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Compass agent. Hey, I've got a buyer that they know your home's for sale. They would love to see it. I don't know what they say. Well, sorry, have them
Yeah,
call
it
me.
Sucks. Like,
Well,
You
that's
know?
like the buyer's agent thing. You call
Right.
somebody for sale by owner and they're like, we're not willing to work with realtors. Okay, well, you've got 7 realtors with already willing and able buyers and you're not willing to pay a commission. Your house is going to sit there until
Yeah.
you decide
Right.
it's worth working with an agent who has the ability to make your dreams come true with your sale.
Yep, I'm getting it done.
It's wild.
So I don't know. It seems like there's a lot to this, and I think it'll continue to go on here.
Yeah.
So,
I'll have to come back and revisit and see how it's going in May.
well, just in the week this has been going on, there's been like
Yeah.
15 articles that have popped up then too. So I want to say it was on Housing Wire. There's another one here. So yeah, quite a bit going on with that. So I don't know. I guess let us know your thoughts on that. To me, it makes zero sense. Like I think you hit it very well, Sierra. It makes
No
should
sense.
do our client the best job. You make it as available as possible, unless for some
Yeah.
reason someone's like, no, I don't
Yeah.
want anyone in my house. I don't
Yeah.
want I want minimal traffic. Brian, I think you and I are working on one now. I think where it's kind of that situation. They probably just don't want the traffic.
And it could be a person who's in a public, you know, give for an example, a superintendent of a school. If
Right.
they decide that they take another job and they leave, they don't want the whole world to know that they're leaving.
Sure.
Or a pediatrician or somebody that has a connection with their community and they need to do a quiet like pocket listing.
So that's
or
kind of the
like
money
quiet
doesn't. The money may
listing.
not mean as much
Correct.
to them as the,
Right.
As
you
the
know,
privacy.
the
But to say across the board that that's what they should do, that's
Yeah.
every sale situational. I don't get it.
yeah.
Don't get
yeah,
it.
I would love to hear what their script is for that about selling that option then too.
There's
So,
got
I
to be
don't know.
something behind
Yeah,
it.
there must be something then. So it's working for them. But yeah, there's all kind of stuff. We'll kind of leave it there for now. But yeah, it's different articles. Inside the mind of homeowners, 4 things they really want in 2025, and real estate agents' new job description, what AI can't replace. I mean, there's tons of just
Yeah,
article
like
crap we can
AI
cover.
doesn't know that they added a bathroom and a
Right.
2-car attached garage. Like,
So
what?
there were some articles AI sold a $120 million house or something, whether it was true or not, I don't know. But yeah, there's always those
geez.
one-off situations. So we're all out of a job, I guess. So, all right.
Oh, man.
Nope, we've been talking long enough, I guess, right? You guys
We're
good?
podcasters.
Yeah.
We don't need a job.
Yeah.
This is our
That's all we do here. All right. Well, that is episode 32 in the bag. Make sure you check back. Again, there was a lot to digest there. If you guys have any questions at all, please get them in there. And again, if you see any topics or anything that is, burning you up, you want an answer to, we will gladly talk about it. Just let us know. So till then, like, share, do all the fun things, and we will see you next time.